the Bunzerelli Show.
All right, this is the Bunzerelli Show. I am Bunzerelli. You can call me Joe. Joining me, I got my brother Bob here. Bob, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Bob, we just saw it's been a couple days, but the Boba Fett trailer's out. I gave it a glance once, and I kind of was like, okay, looks pretty decent. And then when I started thinking about the possibilities, I started getting more excited because I don't think the trailer showed us much, but I think there's good reason for that. And I'll tell you why. But what was your impression of it?
I'm excited about it. I was thinking the whole time we were talking about Boba Fett coming back, I'm picturing just the green suit, like old times. Like I forgot about the actor and the character, until I seen the trailer. Yeah, and it just brought me really back into it. I was like, oh yeah, the show was so good, and it's back into that world. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it.
There's a couple of things that it's got going for it. Is the director is going to be Robert Rodriguez. Now, Robert Rodriguez is the guy that debuted was responsible for the episode that debuted Boba Fett's return. So like that great entrance he made and kind of like setting up the tone of Boba Fett, that was all Robert Rodriguez. He's directing a couple episodes, but the cool thing is he's serving as an executive producer with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. So it's kind of like they're kind of do that same little brainstorming session, and they got a lot of good creative. And Bryce Dallas Howard, she's back directing as well. So she's going to do a couple episodes. So it's that same thing. A lot of creative people that are good behind it. The tone of the same way the tone of The Mandalorian was kind of like a Western kind of thing going on. I think the tone of this and why they're not showing us, not that they're not showing us anything, but I'm hoping that the nature of the show is they can make it like an outer space Godfather or Sopranos, kind of start making the twists and turns with like the alien mob. My impression was the first alien talking to him was kind of like, I'm just guessing, was like a galactic mobster, maybe kind of checking in on him and feeling out the situation. Give me a lot towards that because it seems like when he's dealing with the local gangsters, that guy's not there. There's also a rumor, and I went to look it up because it was so blatantly obvious, but everybody else thinks it too, but it's not pointed out. But the voice of that first alien sounds a lot like Pedro Pascal. Did you catch that?
Yeah. I thought that was him too.
Yeah, I thought, oh, I guess Din Djarin's just in this show. Like, nope, it's this alien dude. I was like, wait a minute, that's got to be him. But
see, I remember the first voice thinking it was him, but it was more of a narrator. Yeah. And then I thought, no, maybe that was the guy that's playing Boba Fett instead. Maybe I'm getting the voices mixed up. But the first voice did sound like him, and I didn't notice that was actually the alien talking. I didn't catch that part of it.
Yeah, because he was grumbling.
I definitely thought that was him.
Yeah, he was grumbling an alien, and like the translation was coming through the mic, and also it's Pedro Pascal on like the little mic sound, which makes the Din Djarin thing like kind of come out more. But
now, are you thinking it's going to be, when you're saying like the mob story thing? Are you thinking it's going to be less like what was the other one? Mandalorian, where it's like the standalone? I mean, each episode is going to be standalone to some extent, but each one was really like a standalone little mini adventure.
Yeah.
Each episode was. Do you think it's going to be that same way, or do you think it's going to be more like a drama?
I think it's going to be more like a drama. I think it's going to be like twists and turns with these mobsters and maybe betrayals and stuff. So it's an 8-episode storyline. And I think it's pretty much planted on Tatooine. And the other thing might be because they don't want to start putting Boba Fett too much out there, because then you start messing with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. Yeah. And then it's more better kind of, maybe, you never know, they brought Luke Skywalker in, but if he's just hidden in that little pocket where he doesn't change any history or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You said Tatooine. Is that because it reminded me, when they were talking to the aliens, it reminded me of the bar from one of the movies where they had the musicians and everything.
Yeah, he's probably in the same bar.
The same place.
It's in Mos Eisley is, and they've actually been in Mos Eisley in The Mandalorian, but it's Jabba's palace, and there was so they're going to have this storyline going on, but there's still some questions that need to be answered as far as like, first, you got to tell us how Boba got out of that Sarlacc pit, like a little flashback or something. You know what I'm saying? or do you? I don't know. It'd be nice to see.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot there was a whole prequel. It turned out to be a prequel type deal. Not a prequel, but it wasn't like this takes place. This show takes place between some of the movies because Luke Skywalker was still young. I kind of forgot that whole part of it.
No, this takes place after Return of the Jedi, so he's escaped the Sarlacc pit.
Okay, yeah, after Return of the Jedi, but before the newer series that came out.
Yes, before the sequel series, yes. But and I was thinking about it because did you see the Luke Skywalker behind the scenes, like everything they put into like recreating him and everything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I've been meaning to, I just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, the thing that makes it relevant is they showed like, okay, because we had to use like different scenes of Luke, and we, his face looks different every time. We had to find a mix, this and that. Here's what Tamora Morrison's got going for him. Attack of the Clones. Okay? So that was 20 years ago. That came out in 2002. So Tamora Morrison was 20 years younger. Okay? Now, he played Jango and he played the clones. So there's a good possibility that there is a lot of face mapping that's been done of him that's in like the archives. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they digitally put his face on like a lot of the clones and different angles and everything. So it's probably even easier to recreate a young Tamora Morrison. And then you could do the flashback of what happened with the Sarlacc pit. And you could also... You could kind of explore, because in the original Star Wars movies, he was just kind of like the mysterious, cool-looking guy. It's because of the fan following that they started doing The Mandalorian and guys that looked like him and exploring that culture. Point being is, now you can kind of maybe explore, because now he's in this, and I like his personality now, like his sage-like, honorable kind of thing. It's very interesting. But is that because of his near-death experience, or was he always kind of like that? But the cool thing is if you could do a flashback with a young Boba Fett and kind of see his relationship with Jabba. Not like they have a history to flourish out, but more like, what was he like back in those days? Maybe have the conversation of Jabba telling Boba to go get Han Solo. Stuff like that. And just, was there a change? Did the after-death experience change him? And these are all cool things that would be surprises and explore his character. So you have that narrative going, and then you parallel that with this mobster storyline. It would just make for a great show if you weaved it right and just, fill in the pieces of the puzzle, but show us this new Boba Fett and this new storyline. I think it would just make for a great show.
Yeah, and it's got to be easier to do him, making today Mark Hamill look like Mark Hamill back then.
Yeah.
I think the Boba Fett guy looks a lot more like he did back then,
Yeah, and maybe even just
he's
a little
bald
bit
now, so he could just superimpose some hair on him real easy.
Yeah,
that'd be cake.
He could have always been bald. You never know. Just Jango had hair. You never knew Boba.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he could have been bald the whole time, And then even just de-aging it would be that simple. True. I'm curious if he'll do a cameo by the Mandalorian. If that would, by Din Djarin, if that would serve any purpose, maybe even at the end, just like a 2-minute kind of thing, and then you get like, hey, we're back on board for Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'd want to see it just because with how it ended with Mandalorian and them saying Boba Fett coming next, and then like I don't know if these headlines were true or not. I stopped looking at them or stopped reading the stories because I couldn't tell. There wasn't anything backing them up. Mm-hmm. But there's talks of things were bad with Pedro Pascal and the crew or something, and maybe he wasn't going to stick with it. And it didn't seem like there's anything. There's like no article that I read about that seemed to have any evidence to back anything up. No. So I'm curious to see if he's in or out at this point.
No, he's in. Mandalorian's going to be next winter, which is cool because you got like Book of Boba Fett to hold us over. If you had both shows going, it might kind of confuse like newer audiences at least.
Right.
Like, we know the difference between Din Djarin and Boba Fett, but for audiences watching the two shows, just kind of stepping on, it would just be a little. But now, if Din Djarin made a little thing, and you kind of get a sneak preview, because the Mandalorian's supposed to take a different turn, because now Grogu's out of the picture. So what's he doing?
Right.
So with whatever he does with Boba Fett, you could get like a quick, just little preview of where he's at right now. Just a little taste of where his storyline is going. Same way Mandalorian ended like, hey, Book of Boba Fett coming next. You kind of just get like, next year we got Mandalorian. So another curious thing is they did it with Darth Maul when they brought Darth Maul back. Okay, what they did was they brought Darth Maul back, and he was in Clone Wars, he was in Rebels. They had Obi-Wan kill him in Rebels, like the old Obi-Wan. It was really cool. Steven Stanton played the voice and recreated Obi-Wan and everything. But the point was, Dave Filoni had made a point. He goes, it seemed like it wouldn't be, you can't rob that from Obi-Wan. So we just gave it to him again. So whether you watch the cartoons or the movies, at the end of the day, Obi-Wan killed Darth Maul. My thing is, does Boba Fett need to die at some point? You know what I'm saying? Does he really? If he keeps himself in that criminal underworld, I guess he could really. And if his whole thing is to lay low and stay off everybody's radar, he could just coexist with everything else going on. So it's curious to see. Or does he need to? I don't know if he needs to die. You know, I mean, especially because the prequels take place. I'm sorry?
He didn't die in the movie. He didn't die in the movie, right?
Well, Return of the Jedi, when he fell in the Sarlacc pit, we just assumed he died. So, you know, if he got brought back, he survived. So it's like, but it doesn't really, he's not Darth Maul. Like, what's his real impact on the galaxy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Besides, especially if he's trying to strain away from being the bounty hunter and being the criminal underworld thing. Because even in the prequels, you see that criminal underworld still exists. Because Han Solo is doing like some pirate stuff in the beginning when they first find him. Yeah. So it's interesting to see.
Oh, so one thing we were talking before about the different sort of format of it. Mm-hmm. The Mandalorian, I think, was only half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Or at least, because I remember thinking each episode, like, they were really good, but they always felt short, you know? So now, is this going to be half-hour episodes if it's only 8, or is it going to be 1-hour episodes? Because that would lead more into drama direction, too. That's how, you know what I mean?
You know, the format will be interesting because it's only 8 episodes. It's like your standard show is like 10 or 12 episodes. Like, I think Mandalorian might have been like 13 or something because they had a storyline they were weaving. So is the point is, are they making this like a mini series with a story from beginning to end? You know what I'm saying? Because then in that case, okay, if you're going to do it maybe an hour, but it depends. How is the story that simple that, you know, half-hour episode, somebody else directing it, and you get to that point? So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge because we don't know what the scope of the storyline is and how big are they going, or is it small scale? What's the impact? Is the plan to keep Boba Fett alive? So it's all, you know, it's all wait and see. But at least one thing I like is I like the tone in the trailer. I like the way everything looks, and it just looks like it's going to be a great show. Another cool thing is it's going to be on Wednesdays, which works out great for you and me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
we can do next day. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it'll be a fun ride. I'll tell you something. Doing the TV shows was fun. I love doing WandaVision. I love doing Mandalorian because it was like you'd watch it, and plus, you know, not going to theaters and do that, but you would watch it and be like, yeah, next day, boom, let's go. And you could, because then instead of just like reviewing something, you get to see the twists and turns. Oh, what do you think they're going to do this? What do you think of that? So TV shows are always fun to do, and we really haven't had one this season yet. So this will be like the first into that. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the Book of Boba Fett. So, of course, I want to thank my brother Bob for being on the show. Bob, always great having you here. And we will see you guys in a few weeks.